George is going to go ahead and draw a 7. It looks like a bunch of spells that are expensive, and there's no lands. So I think he's going to ship that one back. And if there is lands, there's 1. So that is not a very good hand. Yeah, George is going to ship it back. And saw a couple lands and a mix of spells for Ralph. That might be a keeper for the token deck, as it generally doesn't play big, expensive mana costing cards. As it looks like Ralph kept his 7 and George is going to keep shuffling, trying to think of possibly what the best 6 for him to get is, and I would think that that is some sort of a green untapped source into a mana guy. It looked like a mana guy. The first card looked like a Noble Hierarch. There's a Forest, and that might be a Noble. I mean, he's going to keep it if it's Forest Noble Hierarch. Bloodstained Mire into Forest Noble Hierarch. So he did. He got the best opener that the deck could with land into Mana Dork. It just matters on if George can draw a decent mix of mana and spells. You don't want to draw too many of one or the other, or you certainly lose. And it doesn't happen often, but a lot of players do generally or do legitly lose from mana flood, etc., etc. So Spell's Guide's going to come down for George into a pass. He doesn't get a second land, and that is what Ralph really wants to see. He's going to raise that alarm up. Windburst Kite's going to come down for Ralph. Thoughtseize, raise the alarm. Inquisition, and another card. The card that I don't know is the one he took, so I think... also, Ralph said 19. He cracked a fetch. Sorry. I think it might have been a Rest in Peace, but I'm not entirely sure if that's what it was. Just speculation. Intangible Virtue is going to come down, and that's going to allow him to attack for 2 instead of just 1, as 1 gets blocked by the Spellskite, knocking George down to 18 as Ralph now takes a lead on life. Thanks to everybody watching. We really appreciate your support. Godless Shrine comes in tapped. Solid Pride Mage is going to come down using white off of Noble Hierarch. And Noble's going to attack with 2 Exalted Triggers. Or, not Noble. Wow, Spellskite's going to attack with 2 Exalted Triggers. Down to 17 life goes Ralph, who's going to knock the top of his deck. Look at it and almost cast it, so that might be a Spectral or a Anthem ability. Right now, he's really wanting one more creature in play to use his Windburst Kites. So he's going to swing in there with both, attack for 4, knock George down to 14. Path to Exile is going to come down for the Kasali Pride Mage. Redirect the Spellskite. George is going to take 2 more down to 12. So George still has his Kasali Pride Mage, which can blow up that Anthem. It looks like he drew a Birds. He has a Collected Company in hand, so I can't imagine he's doing anything else unless he's playing a land. Because I think it's really important to just collect a Company and instant speed against this. So right now, I think it's okay to just attack with the Kasali Pride Mage, see what he does. He's not going to do anything. Or he's going to chump block, which is even better. Because that just kills the token. And it puts him even farther back from, unless he has a Raise the Alarm. A Raise the Alarm here into a Rest in Peace or something would be devastating for George. No Raise the Alarm, so yeah. George is going to be able to collect a company at the end of turn and see if he can just possibly win this game on his next draw step. He does have to hit fairly well off the collect the company, I think. He doesn't have too many of the combo pieces in his hand. I didn't get a real good look at it, though. 2 attack is going to knock George down to 10. 3 mana is going to Spectral. Put a bunch of 1/1 flyers into play. Those Thopters are supposed to be spirit tokens. They are not the Thopters, but they are just playing with the Thopters off the top of their deck. Collect a company is going to come down for George. Is going to see a red cap, a cartel, and another card that's decent. I can't remember what birds. But the red cap has to go to the bottom, so one of the win cons is now at the bottom, but he does have the sack outlet. Right now he's just looking for the bolster slash Anafenza type card along with the Kitchen Finks, because I think the deck only plays 1 red cap. And that one's at the bottom, but he does play a full playset of Kitchen Finks. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, come on down to Hometown Hobbies. We have the best prize support in the area, absolutely, no questions asked. And also have some of the most qualified players. So if you want a really good challenge at your FNMs, I will say these FNMs are probably harder than most. Not saying that they're a hard FNM, because I don't think that personally exists. They are still difficult FNMs to place well in, because we do have Pro Tour level players and Star City Games Open top 8ers, all of that kind of thing, PPTQ winners, anything you can think of, we have that play here. So if you ever want a real challenge and really want to play test with some of the best, come on down to Hometown Hobbies, and we have the best price support in the area. Absolutely. Like tonight, I doubt that anyone paid entry except for maybe 1 to 2 players, so we might have took in $20, and we're going to give out over $200 and something. So I'd like to see another card game store top that. I don't think they really can. Rest in Peace going to come down for Ralph, who's going to knock George off of that win con, but he still can just get through an attack for game. So that's not going to do a lot. It's not going to do a whole lot, is what I should say. Ooze is going to come down. Followed by a Birds, and that's fine. That replaces itself because you can convoke it with the Court of Calling. And he's going to attack just for 2. I'm surprised he didn't swing in there with a pawn of 2. The 2 should be fine. He might go ahead and path it. George would probably sack the Birds or something, the tap Birds. So it's going to be apparently... Oh, Exalted Trigger, true. No, yeah, there's a Noble. So it's going to be 14 to 10. So that's why he didn't attack with a Pontiff. So Lingering Soul is going to come into play. It's not going to be able to be flashback or be flashbacked. It's not going to be able to be cast from flashback, whatever you want to say, as Rest in Peace is in play. And it looks like another one's in his hand, along with maybe a Path to Exile and a Rest in Peace, a Path to Exile, and a Grafdigger's Cage. So he has too much sideboard hate this time, it looks like. George is going to get a Kasali Pride Mage and blow up that Rest in Peace at the end step, I believe. And then on his next turn, if he has a Collect a Company, he still has to collect a company for 2 of the combo pieces. And there's nothing in his graveyard right now for that Ewit, so he just swing team, actually. Nope, he's going to go ahead and pop and kill the Rest in Peace. And this is confusing, as a Path to Exile is going to come down. Either way, it can't target the Kasali Pride Mage. He could lead with it. He could immediately cast it on, I think, a Resolution Ralph. It's Ralph's turn, so Ralph gets priority back. Ralph can immediately play the path on the Kasali Pride Mage, but then George would be able to respond with the ability. If George goes to activate the ability, he sacrifices as part of the cost. Either way, Kasali Pride Mage is not an ideal target for that Path to Exile. So, either way, this Rest in Peace is going to be destroyed by a Kasali Pride Mage. That's necessary. So now the rest in peace should be dead. Looks like not really official table judge, but Judge Carter is at the table helping out, making sure everything is played how it should be. And a quarter calling top deck. Let's see if that... Let's see, you can chord for 2. You can Ewit, then you can't chord for... You can chord for 1, I think. Alright, so he's not able to win this turn, but I think you have to play Eternal Witness, getting your quarter calling back. Oh wait, no, never mind. Ignore me. He has quarter calling. He's going to quarter calling, probably in Ralph's instep. But the thing is, little does he know that Ralph has another Rest in Peace in Grafdigger's Cage, so he needed to pretty much win this turn to try to combo Ralph out. But he does have a lot of damage in play, so he could just swing 5 right here, and I think that's absolutely fine. I don't think Ralph's going to block. He can't really afford to block. He doesn't have any mana up, so you don't have to worry about a Path to Exile. You're at 10, so he would have to have... He does have a Windburst Kites, I think, with a card under it, but he doesn't have anything to attack to activate it. Yep, may just play the quarter calling now. Hey, you could chord for 3 and then get a Kitchen Finks and go up to 12. I think you have to tap Cartel and leave a mana up if you do it that way. I guess, yeah, you want to keep Cartel because it can get into, or not indestructible, but protection from a color, so it can chump block for free. Can't really fly, but yeah. So we're gonna see a chord for 3, which should be grabbing a Kitchen Finks. I think it might grab a Liliana, but I think you want to go all in on Finks and then try to chord next turn for lethal, even though he doesn't know it. We know that Ralph has a couple ways to stop the graveyard. Instead, he's going to get Liliana. Liliana, you just sack something to Cartel to trigger Liliana immediately, and both players will either discard or just return a creature from graveyard back to the hand. So, actually, you might just sack the Pontiff to wipe the team. Yeah, okay, so this is pretty cool. So, Pontiff's going to die from the Cartel. It's going to give it pro white, let's say. Pro black, it doesn't actually matter. He does have a white up, so... Oh, I guess that does matter. Wait. I wonder what happens if he sacks in response at instant speed. If it'll become a Planeswalker. Yeah, we're about to find out. Hey, it flips. Alright, it fizzles. Okay. I'm surprised he got rid of that one and not a Birds of Paradise, though. That was a little bizarre. So he's going to Haunt a Birds, get a 2/2 zombie, and he's going to think about what to do. He has an E-Wit, so he's definitely not plussing. He has to minus that card. Oh. Yeah, well, you still can't plus, so... I think you want to use your Planeswalker. I don't know. Cartel's going to get in for 2, knocking Ralph down to 12. This is game 3. Both players have 1 win under their belt in this awesome match. Liliana's going to +1, putting a Noble Hierarch in play. And Ralph's going to knock the top of his deck and draw and look at his hand. It looked like that was a Zealous Persecution. Not exactly what he wanted to see as a Lingering Souls, which have once again been a fantastic card for him to draw. Ralph's going to just play a Rest in Peace and pass it back. George reaching immediately for his mana. Rest in Peace does shut him off from comboing off this turn, but... Oh wait, he can't combo off this turn. He grabbed Liliana. It's pretty good he did, as Ralph did have the path. Yep. So George is going to collect a company for 3, and all right, yeah, it's going to resolve. All right, he's probably going to grab a nope, another Orzhov Pontiff.